Welcome to the Event Services Training video series, Creating Events on 25 Live Pro. In this section, we will go over how to create several types of events, such as a basic reservation, a recurring reservation, and a tabling reservation. We will also go over how to copy and relate reservations, some available setup options, and how to understand your event confirmation. To create an event reservation, you can click Create an Event on the dashboard or Event Form on the top right of any page. The event form consists of several text fields that require information regarding your event. Any field that says required must be filled up before submitting your request. If you save the reservation before filling out the required fields, they will be highlighted red. Each field has an information icon that can be clicked to drop down an explanation of the field. It can be clicked again to hide. For this reservation, we will assume there are 10 or less attendees, there is no setup or equipment required, and the event will only occur once. When entering a title, you should be as descriptive as possible. We ask that you do not use acronyms or generic titles such as meeting. It may not seem like such a big deal, but if every reservation that were created were simply titled meeting, it would soon become impossible to differentiate between events. We will call this reservation Chess Club Game Night. Event or meeting title is not a required field, and we recommend leaving it blank, as it overwrites the previous field. The only time we would recommend using it is if your event title is too long to fit in the above field. The next field is event type. The only available option is event, so that's what you'll select. Here you can search for your student organization by using the drop-down menu. When I select Chess Club, you'll see that I get a message stating it is an inactive organization. If you receive this message, reach out to Student Activities. If you cannot find your organization, you can reach out to the Event Services office. As long as you do not have either of these issues, you can move forward. The expected headcount is how many guests you're expecting to attend your event. The event description is a brief description of what the event will be. Here you can select the date and time for your event. You cannot book within 5 days. The system will default to showing you the first available date you can book. There is a checkbox asking if the event will begin and end on the same day. You will want to leave this checked. If you need additional time before or after your event, you can add that time here. The next section is a calendar. At this time, there's no need to use it. We will go over this section in the recurring event training video. Here you can search for a location. If you're unsure of what locations are available, you can use the Save Search drop-down menu to see all available locations filtered by building and room type. We can click on the Campus Center and it will show all the available spaces in the Campus Center. If a space is unavailable, it will say so, and will also show you the conflicting event. If you don't want to see the spaces that are unavailable, you can filter the search by selecting Hide Conflicts. Another filtering option is to enforce the headcount, which will remove any spaces that are too small to accommodate your expected headcount. It is important to note that this search shows all spaces available in the building, including hallways, which can't be used for an event. While searching for an event space, you will want to look for spaces that are described as conference rooms, boardrooms, seminar rooms, meeting rooms, classrooms, or ballrooms. We will select Conference Room 2215. When selected, the room will drop down below and provide some details about the space, including the day and time it's currently reserved, the available layouts, which come in a drop-down menu. If you highlight the room number, a window will appear that displays a picture of the room, if available. There is also information regarding what features the space has. If you accidentally add a space to your reservation that you do not want, you can remove it by clicking on the Remove button. If you find that there are spaces that you use frequently, you can favorite them by clicking on the star icon. This will make finding this location easier in the future, as it will appear in your starred search. Here you can search for any resources that you will need provided for your event. If you're unsure of what equipment we have available, you can use the All Commonly Used Resources search to see a list of resources we can provide. If you have any files you want to share with the Event Services Office regarding your event, you can do that here. Next, there is a short questionnaire that is pretty straightforward, although the first question is worded a bit odd. If you're expecting more than 50% of your attendees to be external from UMass Boston, then you will want to select yes. If your event is primarily for UMass Boston students, staff, or faculty, then you will want to select no. If you have any questions, setup information, or if you just want to say hi, you can do that in the More Info or Questions for your scheduler field. Next is the agreement with the university's policy blurb. Read through this information and then click the I agree button to confirm that you have read, understand, and agreed to these policies. Finally, you can submit your reservation by clicking the Save button. It is important to note this button acts more as a submit button than a save button. If you're unable to finish your reservation, you cannot save it and return later. When the Save button is pressed, your event is submitted to the Event Services Office and any changes would need to be done through them. We recommend if you do not finish your reservation, cancel it and start it again at a later time. If you hit the Save button and you're not redirected from this page, your reservation is not complete. Please review this page and make sure all the required fields have been completed. If you have been brought to the Event Details page and received this notification, then your event has been submitted. Please note that submitting an event does not mean that your event is confirmed. you must wait to receive a confirmation email from the Event Services Office. Once you've received that confirmation, then you can begin moving forward with your event. In this section, we will review how to create a recurring reservation on 25 Live Pro. When creating a recurring reservation, you will want to select the repeating pattern button and select Ad Hoc. We cannot accept reservations that are submitted using the daily, weekly, or monthly options. After Ad Hoc is selected, you can use the calendar to click on the dates your events will repeat on. Please note that you cannot select a date earlier than the date you selected above, as that date will be your first occurrence. Once your dates are selected, you can then find a location. If you find a location that meets your needs and it says Reserve, then you can reserve it and the space will be added for all of your dates. You can confirm this by selecting the View Occurrences button. Although, when selecting multiple dates, there is an option to have Reserve available, meaning the space is only available on some of your selected dates. You can reserve the space, and then select View Occurrences to see which dates the space is reserved. They are indicated by a checkbox in the included column. You will then need to find a different location for the dates where your first room is not available. You can repeat this process until you have a space for all of your dates. This is how you create a recurring reservation on 25 Live Pro. The rest of the reservation will be set up just like any other reservation. In this section, we will review how to create a tabling reservation on 25 Live Pro. When creating a tabling reservation, it is helpful to include this information in the title, in the form of info table, tabling, or some variation of the two. We will call this reservation Chess Club Info Table. When entering the headcount for a tabling reservation, it is helpful to enter the amount of people that will be tabling for your event, rather than the amount of people your table is expected to attract. Often we will receive a tabling request with an expected headcount of 100 or more people. This number would represent the amount of people that would visit the table over the course of an afternoon. It is more helpful to include the number of representatives that would be stationed at the info table, likely between 1 to 4 people, so that we can set up accordingly. When creating a tabling reservation, the easiest way to find available locations is by looking through the public searches and selecting Table Locations. This search will show the table locations for McCormick, Residence Hall, and a few locations in the campus center, including the first floor terrace, the second floor terrace, and outside of the catwalk. The different locations are separated into booths that can be used by different groups. The campus center terrace is broken up into 10 separate sections that can be booked by individual groups. The final thing to note when creating a tabling reservation is our standard is to provide 1 6-foot table and 2 chairs. If you would require more or less furniture, it should be noted in the equipment and furniture section so that the space is set up properly for you on the day of. This is how to create a tabling reservation on 25 Live Pro. The rest of the reservation will be set up just like any other reservation. In this section, we will review a few of the setup options that we have available. Lecture style, which is front-facing rows of chairs. Two other chair-based layouts we have are circle and semicircle setups. Classroom style is set up in rows of front-facing 6-foot tables with 2 chairs per table. Boardroom style setups can be found and preset in several spaces on campus, although it can also be set up in multi-purpose use spaces. The boardroom style has 3 variants: a regular boardroom, a closed boardroom, and a U-shaped boardroom. Banquet style setups are made up of 60-inch round tables. Our standard is 8 chairs per table, although they can also be set up in crescent rounds of 5. Reception style setups are made up of 30-inch cocktail tables. We have low and high cocktail tables available and stools that can be set up with them. These are a few of our setup options that we have available, although if you have a setup for your event that you would like to see, you can set up a meeting with the Event Services Office for further assistance. In this section, we will review a standard event confirmation. After submitting your event, you will receive an email from the Event Services Office that looks something like this. If your event was denied or is pending approval for any reason, you will receive an email indicating this. Be sure to read your email carefully and check for an event confirmation. The event confirmation will be attached to the email and provide all the information we have regarding your event. The top of the event confirmation has some details you will find helpful, such as the event reference number, which can be used to search for your event in the 25 Live system. If you contact Event Services regarding an event, be sure to have your event reference number available so we can easily find your event. You can also find the name, email, and phone number of your scheduler that you can use to contact them if you need to make any changes. If your event has any related events, you will find them here. The details for those events will also be listed on the confirmation. The Event Occurrences section will show you the date and time of your reservation. Note, the bold date and time is the time of your actual event. In this example, the event takes place on February 5th, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Below, you'll see in italics the space is reserved starting the day before, February 4th at 2 p.m. This time is for the Event Services Office to set up the space. Next to this, you will see the doors open at 8 a.m. This is when the pre-event time is shown. Below, you will find the reserved location, the setup details, and the resources being utilized. If these details are missing or incorrect, you can reach out to the Event Services Office to update them. On the next page, the Event Occurrences section continues with the related events. On this page, there are 2 additional reservations. Each have multiple spaces reserved. The first reservation has multiple preset spaces that do not require setups, so they do not need any additional details. Although on the second reservation, there are 2 spaces, neither are labeled as preset spaces, and do not have any setup details attached. In this case, the requester would reach out to the Event Services office to provide the setup details. Hopefully this helps understanding your event confirmations. 25 Live Pro has made copying and relating events easy. First, we will start with related events. Related events are separate reservations that are linked together. If you are having a multi-day event or series of events, it may be helpful to relate the events so that the reservations will all appear on the one event confirmation. You can relate events on the event form page when creating a new event. There are 2 options. Create another related event, which is starting a brand new reservation from scratch and relating your current reservation in the new one. Or you can create a related copy of your event, which will duplicate the current event and then bring you to the new event form to make any adjustments that are necessary. If you'd like to relate events that have already been created, you can go to the Event Details page of one of the events, click More Actions, and Manage Related Events. A new window will appear showing any related events. You can click Add Events to Set and search for the event you are looking to relate. To relate, all you need to do is check the box next to the event. You can select multiple events, and also perform multiple searches without losing the events you've already selected. To confirm the events you selected, you can click Show Selected. Once you're finished, you can click Add Selected. We already discussed one way to copy an event earlier when creating an event, although if you'd like to create a copy of a reservation you've made in the past, you can also do this on the Event Details page. Again, you can select More Actions and then Copy Event. You can relate the events, or you can create a separate reservation by clicking Copy Only This Event. This will take you to the event form page for you to make any necessary changes. Hopefully this helps understanding how to copy and relate events. Although, if you have any questions regarding either process, you can contact the Event Services office for further assistance.